Welcome to Duo Chat with Brittany and Cynthia, where we talk about drama shows from shows ranging from the 90s to today.
Hi everyone, I'm Brittany,
And I'm Cynthia.
and today we're talking about Season 4, Episode 6, titled Great Expectations, air date November 8th, 2000, and the synopsis is...
Andie gets early acceptance into Harvard. She decides to go to a rave with Jen and Jack. Meanwhile, things get awkward during the party when Gretchen brings along Pacey, Joey, and Dawson, who is growing more attached to Gretchen. Also, Mitch and Gail decide to keep their baby.
So, doesn't it start off with Andie and Jen in the library?
Yeah.
Okay. She is obsessed with
College
Jen
for everybody.
going to college.
Mm-hmm.
Like last episode, it was all about Jack.
Mm-hmm.
Where is he going? What's he doing? How, is he filling out all of his applications?
Yeah.
And now it's another episode of her being obsessed with just somebody else, Jen now.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, Jen's the victim.
Yep.
That girl is obsessed. When she said she wasn't, she lied.
Mm-hmm.
Because here it is. I'm glad she's leaving Jack alone, but she doesn't have to go after everybody.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, who's going to be the next one? Pacey?
Probably.
Well, we all know he's not going to college.
Mm-hmm.
And then, which is, okay, and this is the other thing that's weird, is like, I don't really feel like Jen and Andie are friends.
Yeah.
It's like they're off and on of, well, let's just put these two pairings that never are together. Let's just throw them together.
Mm-hmm.
And let's just say they're friends.
Yeah.
Because think about it. Jen and Jack are friends.
Yeah.
But not Andie and Jen.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just weird that they're together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but especially after this episode, if something was gonna start friendship-wise, it was ruined now.
And then that's when Jack comes in and gives her the envelope.
Yep.
And what's in it?
Her acceptance letter to Harvard. But it was
The one she shouldn't be getting into.
yeah, because it was just funny when she was looking at the envelope before opening it, and she's like, "Shouldn't it be bigger? If it was a yes, it should be bigger, right?" And Jen was like, "Well, it depends on if you're looking at the whole package."
Yeah. But isn't it supposed to be thicker if you got accepted?
Yeah, because you'd have like all
the enrollment and
Yeah.
information.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And if you just had, if it was light, it would be just the denial letter.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, I feel like it should have been thicker.
Yeah.
I mean, she's going to Harvard.
Yeah.
There should be like 100 papers in there.
Yeah, so Andie had a point. And then Jack announces it to the whole library.
On a lot of teen shows, that's what happens. They're like, oh, is it thick? Like they'll tell their parent, is it thick? And it's like, like that's what people go with. So
yeah, like in Gilmore Girls when Rory got all those acceptance packages, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And then Dawson and Gretchen are still at that music store that popped up in the town all of a sudden. Because now this is the second time I think they've been there.
Well, and Dawson's not really a music person. Like, he's never really had an interest in music unless he was putting the music in his film. Otherwise, he's never been. All of a sudden, this season, he's interested in photography and music.
Yeah, well,
definitely news to me.
Well, Joey did mention before that he was into music before he got into filmmaking when he was younger. That's when she got him that poster.
Well, yeah, but then it all quit when film became his whole life.
Yeah, but then Joey gave him that poster of Imagine. The song Imagine.
But it's just weird. I'm like, all of a sudden, he's obsessed with it. I feel like Dawson goes to this music store every day.
Yeah, well, it's only because of Gretchen.
I have a question.
Yeah.
What? Yeah, but didn't he meet her at the video store? Or at the music store?
Oh, yeah, the first time I know.
And also, my other thing with this is, we did not have a music store in our town.
Right. Well, there was something I remember from a long time ago. I think it was
just for CDs.
Well, no, it was like everything. Tapes.
What?
Records.
What was it called?
I think media player. It was like when we were in elementary. That's where I used to get a lot of my music. And then after that, when they closed, it was Best Buy. So.
I just got all mine at Walmart.
Hmm.
Yeah, we didn't have one that was only for like CDs.
Yeah, not like the one that they have at Capes, I know.
This fake one.
Yeah, because the one that was here was a lot bigger, so.
Um,
And then Pacey and Joey are walking by.
yeah, and Joey sees Dawson and Gretchen.
Mm-hmm. Do you think Joey should have let Pacey see them, Dawson and Gretchen, or?
Do you?
Well, I figured he was going to find out sooner or later.
Well, I'm sure he knows that they're hanging around. I mean, he lives with Gretchen.
Yeah, she works at
And she
the.
talks too much, so I feel like he would know that they're
Yeah, she works
spending.
at the Larry restaurant.
Yeah, so I feel like he would know by her talking.
Mm-hmm.
Think about it. That car ride. Who was doing all the talking?
Gretchen and Dawson.
Gretchen.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I mean is she loves to talk.
Yeah.
So I feel like she would definitely have told him, "Oh, I'm hanging out with Dawson today,"
Yeah, but
or "I saw Dawson today."
mm-hmm. It's just because he was surprised when they got to the place for the rave, and he's like, "Since when have those two been hanging out?" So that was news to him there. And Joey acted like she didn't know anything.
Uh, yeah, I don't really care about that.
Mm.
Like again, I don't want it to go back to of this love triangle.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just let it be. Let it be the blossoming of Dawson and Gretchen, and keep Pacey and Joy together, and let's just keep it at that. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I don't need to go back to season 3.
And
You know what
then,
I mean?
yeah, Andie's dad gives her his jacket from Harvard that he's had,
Oh, we'll talk about the
that his dad
CD
gave him.
store.
The what?
The CD store.
Yeah.
I always want to say video store. So that random guy just walks up and
Oh.
gives them
Mm-hmm.
the poster flyer thingy. I
Yeah.
mean, it was weird. He just, that extra just walks up and
Yeah.
just awkwardly hands Gretchen the poster.
Wasn't it supposed to be like a secret, so he made it too obvious
It was
too?
weird though, how he was walking. Like, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
It was definitely like he was like, on cue, go.
Yeah.
It just was weird to me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, well, so yeah, when he's giving her his sweatshirt or whatever that was.
Jacket, yeah.
Well, then, yeah, but Jack then says, Dad gave you his sweater.
Oh.
So I thought it was a jacket too, but then they said sweater, and I went, oh, okay. Even though it looks like a jacket.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I thought, what was it? Was it Boston that they in season 3 that the group was attending?
I think so.
Yeah, wasn't Andie going on about her dad being an alum?
Mm-hmm.
Now he's an alum at Harvard? I'm so confused.
Didn't they mention that before?
I don't know. I was just like, wait a minute, the college that they attended to visit, I thought that's where her dad went. And then now it's Harvard? I question that because I'm so confused.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, that was news to me. So yeah, her dad is so happy, and it was the best day of your life.
Yeah.
And
Jack says he hopes he gets the same speech when he gets into clown college.
I don't think Jack's going to clown. I don't think Jack is going to clown college. And then Andie is not excited or anything.
Mm-hmm.
Is it because she cheated?
No, she says
I'm
because.
always gonna throw that now in her face.
Yeah,
Well,
she
she
said.
cheated.
Yeah.
She shouldn't even be
I
going to
know.
Harvard, okay?
Mm-hmm.
They shouldn't allow cheaters.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she needs to just confess because this is ridiculous.
I know, but the only one that
I
knew about
don't
it was.
support it.
Yeah, I know, but the only one who knew about it made it go away. So.
Yeah, and I would still feel guilty.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I never got the proper punishment. Okay, so you would just be okay, Cynthia, if you cheated and you knew darn well that you were supposed to not go to anywhere because you knew that the colleges would not accept a cheater. And you would be okay with being like, well, I didn't get a punishment, so I'm still going to go.
No.
You would be okay with that.
No.
I wouldn't either. I'd be like, I still need my punishment, which is not to attend these colleges.
Mm-hmm.
At least put it out there so that if then they still accept you. It's like,
Mhm.
well, at least I told the truth.
Yeah.
And I can now live free of
Mhm.
that guilt.
Yeah.
I still feel like she should have guilt.
Mhm.
And she doesn't. It's gone. It's never talked about again. Once Principal Green leaves, it's never mentioned.
Right.
And it bothers me because it was such a big part, and it's a huge part in somebody's life if they're cheating.
Mhm.
And the fact that, once again, because it was Andie and because she's a smart girl and it's a TV show, we're just going to wipe it away. No, punish the girl. She shouldn't be going to Harvard. You know,
Right.
she should feel so much guilt in my mind.
Mhm.
But of course, she doesn't. And then, now I have a question for you.
Mhm.
When Andie brings up that she's not happy or excited, or she's basically not having any highs and she's not having any lows. It's just sort of mediocre.
Mhm.
Um, and then she brings up because of her pills, her medication.
Yeah.
Did you think because she brought up her medication that something bad was going to happen?
Well, yeah, because I already knew the title and such. So
Yeah, but Jen's the one that had it. So
yeah.
did you think it would happen to Jen? Or because Andie brings up in her medication, and the thing is, Andie doesn't bring up her medication unless it's going to be talked about in the episode.
Mhm.
Because she brought it up when she was going on that interview with Mrs. Valentine. And she brought it up, remember, because she was all tipsy because she was dizzy.
Mhm.
And it was brought up because it was Mrs. Valentine criticizing her. So it's like,
Mhm.
it's only brought up when something's going to happen.
Yeah. Foreshadowing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And because she brought it up, I just wondered, because you've never seen it before,
Mhm.
if it registered like, hey, something's going to happen to Andie.
Yeah. I figured something would happen. I just didn't know exactly what. Because she would have had the same reaction to anything really. And then some people got flyers and some people got emails for this
Jen got
rave.
the email
Mhm. And from Drew.
from her best friend.
Yeah. So, because I thought maybe he was in charge of it all, but I think he was just invited as well, and then just like forwarded the well back then Evite to
Well,
Jen.
he just kept trying and trying with Jen to get her to go. And
Mhm.
then I didn't like it because then he goes up to Jen because she was like, kind of like get lost. I don't have honesty. And then he has the nerve to bring up the ecstasy
Mhm.
and that, oh, remember like in New York, you loved it.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, because then, the camera pans to her after he like walks away or something. And of course, then she's debating if she should take it. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
didn't like it. I'm like, she's turned into such a good girl that I love
Mhm.
and that you would want to be friends with. And then there's this jerk
Yeah.
who, by the way, spells their name how?
Drue.
Drue.
Mhm.
What kind of Drew spells her name that way?
Yeah.
You really are odd.
I think it's just a rich spelling.
I have a whole issue with this whole episode with Drew.
Yeah, and then he says that when he went to go back to get the pills that night, he saw that they were gone, so he knows that Jen took them.
He gave it to her.
I know, but he probably wasn't expecting for her to take them.
Oh, whatever. He knows Jen.
And then Dawson walks into the kitchen with it decorated as such.
Okay, when it says congratulations,
Yeah,
um, first of all, did they really just buy the balloons for themselves?
I guess. Yeah, it's
Because
usually
the only
gifts.
ones that know are them. So the fact that they just buy themselves balloons.
Yeah,
What, have you ever just bought yourself balloons?
no.
And so it says congratulations. And, what was Dawson's comment? Something about what company did they send you the balloons or whatever?
I don't know.
Yeah, I forgot what it was, but it was funny. And then, see, Dawson's becoming a little jokester. And, and it was just really weird too because Mitch and Gail are just dancing in the kitchen
Yeah.
and all happy. And of course, Dawson walks in to ruin the moment. But then they tell him that, they're keeping the baby, and he's so excited.
Yeah.
It's nice to see him happy because remember, last episode, his parents were irresponsible.
Yeah.
So at least now, I think he's going to like the little brother or sister.
Mm-hmm.
But I still laugh because he's going to be out of the house when that kid is born.
Right.
He's not even going to really know the kid.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to be the long lost brother. Um, and so he takes the hint that, he should just leave them alone.
Yeah.
My thing was with Mitch and Gail.
Mm-hmm.
They're supposed to be the good parents. They don't even ask their son where he's going because he says, "Well, I was invited somewhere, so I'm gonna go."
Right.
And Mitch is like, "I like, that's what I like about our son. That he takes the hint." And I'm like, "But why aren't you asking him where he's going?
Yeah.
Like he's hanging around Gretchen now,
Mm-hmm.
who dropped out of college,
Mm-hmm.
and you still don't know why. Like
Right.
we know why, but you don't know why." And you're gonna let Dawson hang out with a college girl. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It
Well,
doesn't make any sense.
she is Pacey's sister, so
That
they
means
trust her.
nothing.
They trust her just because of that.
I
Like
don't
they
think
saw her
so.
grow up.
I don't think so. But I was just like, ask the boy where he's going and be an actual parent. Like, I know Dawson's always parenting his parents, but at some point you have to just parent your own kid and just ask the questions.
Mm-hmm.
Where are you going tonight?
Yeah.
See if Dawson is going to lie. That's the thing is Dawson can never lie because he never gets asked the questions.
Right.
I don't think anyone besides maybe Jen gets asked, where are you going?
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like Grams would be the only one that would say, where are you going?
Oh, not this episode.
Well, yeah, not this episode. But I'm just saying, out of anyone on this show, she would probably be the one to ask the question.
Mm-hmm. And she didn't even show up at the end, or
Nope.
and
Not in this episode.
I don't think she'll show up about this in the next one either.
No.
I'm guessing.
No, she just comes and goes.
And then Gretchen and Joey are getting ready for the rave and convince Pacey to go so he doesn't have to stay and clean up the bathroom.
Okay. So, in this,
Mm-hmm.
you can see that Joey is at their house.
Right.
Well, because remember you were like, did they end up with that house?
Yeah.
And here they're hanging out at
Mm-hmm.
their house.
Yeah, it looks like they've been there for a while already because there's so much stuff around.
Yeah, they accumulated all of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Right, I'm supposed to believe that.
Right, because I feel like Pacey wouldn't even have that much stuff to begin with, so.
Well, and your stuff would probably still be in boxes.
Mm-hmm.
Like Pacey, he doesn't have time to unpack.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I feel like he would only have like one box because he just keeps going to different places.
Yeah. And he probably downsized too when he lived on the boat for the summer, so.
Yeah, his one outfit.
Yeah, because I'm sure his dad wouldn't, or his parents wouldn't have, just kept his stuff around. He probably wanted to put it away or get rid of it.
And he learned to keep it light because you can't put it all on the boat will sink.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I said downsize.
So I think Gretchen invited them because she thought Dawson wasn't going because Dawson was like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not into it. And she's like, well, you've never, and this was at the CD store.
Yeah.
And, she brought it up and he was like, why? I'm not into that. And she was like, well, you've never been to one, so how would you know?
Mm-hmm.
But that's how I am. I couldn't see myself going to a raver, whatever the heck that is. Could you?
Yeah, I wanted to go.
You?
Yeah, because they have themed ones. Those look fun. Yeah, they're I think in New York it was like
this is news to me.
Like a Shrek one, and
breaking
then,
news.
Like a musical one. They just play themed music. So
is there drugs involved though?
Probably. I don't know. I'd just be there for the music.
Interesting. I'd rather stay home. So then, of course, Dawson shows up.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when they all go. And I'm actually surprised, though, that Dawson, of all people, would actually go with Pacey and Joey.
Yeah, what if Gretchen wasn't there?
I still, I'm not buying it. Because the Dawson that we've seen would not do anything with Pacey.
Yeah, well, after
Besides,
Pacey,
try to fight him again.
apologized, I think things are turning around slowly, but going there.
Oh, you're so naive. Um, or is that just your hopes and dreams?
Well, it just seems that way.
Um, and so then of course they go, and it's weird that Dawson's driving. I didn't know Dawson got his license.
Yeah, I guess so.
Because remember, the only one that ever drives is Pacey.
Mm-hmm.
So it's weird that Pacey's not even driving them. It's Dawson, isn't it?
Well, I think they just need an excuse to have Dawson and Gretchen be next to each other.
They could be in the back seat. If Pacey was driving, then Joey would be in the passenger seat.
Yeah, I don't know.
You know what I mean? It would just be reversed, the couples.
I think they just wanted to have them in the front to focus on them more since they were talking most of the
You could
time.
have zoomed in the back seat.
I don't think that would have been a great shot.
But I thought it was funny though when Gretchen was going on because I told, like I said, she was the talker. Because again, that car ride would have been very quiet if she wasn't speaking.
Mm-hmm.
And she brings up like when they were kids and something. I wasn't really listening.
4th of July.
Yeah, and she's like, "How old were you, Pacey?" And Pacey's like, "I don't know."
Mm-hmm.
And I think Pacey just wanted out of the conversation.
Yeah.
And Dawson's like, "We were 11 and you were 14." I was like, "Dawson, wait a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Who would remember that?" I
Yeah.
mean, I would because I'm good with like numbers and ages and years and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Like I can pinpoint when, like how old somebody was. But it's just weird that Dawson would remember. You
Well,
know?
it was even more weird that Gretchen remembered that Dawson was wearing red.
Well, did she have a crush on the 11-year-old
I don't know.
when she was 14? Well, and
Mm-hmm.
here, now you see that they're 3 years apart.
Yeah.
So little by little, they're at least telling us something.
Yeah.
Now, we go from the awkward car ride to Jen and Andie.
Yeah. I
And
think
why were they waiting for Jack? What was he doing?
they're at Jen's house waiting for Jack to get out. They just kept saying meeting, meeting, meeting
What kind of meeting was he in?
until they were on the swings outside the place.
Yeah, but
And
what kind of meeting was he in?
yeah, I'm in there. And then Jack walks out after their whole, Andie asking Jen questions about the pills. And he said that he's ready to dance the soccer out of him or whatever. So I guess it was a meeting for soccer, but it
Oh,
was
yeah, because
night.
he's a coach for the soccer, yeah.
So it was like really late to have a meeting about a kid's soccer team, but okay. I don't know.
Maybe it was just for like adults.
Because I thought maybe it could have been a meeting about
But Andie
the
was
boys
also
dropping out.
but Andie was also a coach. Wouldn't she have been
Yeah,
there?
I was gonna say that too. Yeah, so that didn't make sense too. Like
No, because
everything.
Andie was also the coach. So I feel like she would have been at this coaches meeting.
Yeah, so I was thinking maybe it was about the boys dropping out.
But I feel like Andie would have been there to like stand up for her brother.
Yeah, maybe if she wasn't allowed to go for some reason. I don't know.
Yeah, but I feel like he would need backup, and like Andie was there the whole time so she could, tell her side of the story. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know. I was just trying to make sense
It
of it.
didn't make any sense. That's why I just didn't know where he was.
Mm-hmm.
So, again, Andie and Jen hanging out is weird. But then, then they're outside on the swing set. And, which is fine and all, but they're sitting there and they bring up the ecstasy.
Mm-hmm.
And, of course, Andie was like, oh, I want to look at him.
Yeah.
She sniffed it.
Yeah, I know. I saw that. I was like,
whoa, whoa, whoa. And, Jen was like,
you're too interested.
Yeah, you're a little too interested in this.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, Jack walks up and obviously she can't hand it back to Jen.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
she just puts it in her pocket. And, like, it was weird though, like when Jack comes up, they were like, oh, we're just talking about like girl talk.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, girl talk, all right. Drugs. Now, do you think at that moment, like when it was just the two of them, do you think that Jen should have given Andie the pills
No.
to look at?
No.
But you have to think too that Jen was thinking of taking them herself.
Mm-hmm.
But also too, Andie's responsible for Andie.
Yeah.
So if she wants to see it,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's on her.
Mm-hmm.
If she wants to sniff them, that's on her. Like, she's not a kid.
Mm-hmm.
She's the same age as Jen.
Yeah.
So if you want to blame one, you got to blame the other.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like.
Yeah.
And again, Andie, it wasn't like Andie was like, no, get those drugs. Like, I could see that, the peer pressure of like, Jen, you know, if Jen would have said, no, look, look, look. But Jen didn't even want to give her the pills. I think Andie would have attacked her to get the pills.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because she was that interested that it could have turned that way. But I was just like, I don't like that, you know, the blame is going to be on Jen.
Right.
For letting her have the pills.
Yeah. So this is the second time that Drew's gotten Jen. Well, she didn't get in trouble for the party, but this is the second time he set her up.
But could have, yeah.
Yeah. Set her up to get in trouble.
Well, okay, so, and again, Jack is driving.
Mm-hmm.
This episode is weird. The people that do not drive are driving.
Right.
Oh my gosh. The people we've never seen in the driver's seat are all of a sudden driving.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
And I mean, whose car are they in?
I don't know. You know, when it comes to Jack and Andie, they've had so many cars, I can't keep up. It could be their dad's car. I don't know.
Did Jack finally get his own car? Now he's 18.
Maybe.
So it was funny though, like when Dawson and Gretchen pull up, and they get the car because they have to go say the password or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, and then of course that's when Pacey brings up them hanging out. Well, then it was like, wasn't it Pacey? I was like, when did we become the four or the hangout couple?
Yeah, something like that.
And I was like, apparently tonight.
Yeah, Joey
your sister decided this.
Yeah, Joey says the inauguration.
Mm-hmm.
But I was surprised when the guy only charged them $5 per person.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it'd be a lot more than that.
Mm-hmm.
Even in the 90s.
Like 50.
Or not 90s, 2000s now.
Yes, it's 2000.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. $5 was, yeah, I don't know.
And then, like, the guy didn't, like, check to see if everybody was, you know...
They're not gonna check.
I don't know. I just feel like if they had some responsibility and common sense, they would have checked people's IDs. I don't know.
Then it was for, I think it was for underage.
Yeah, well...
I feel like that's what these parties are for. I mean, everyone they went to has been, like, for underage kids.
Yeah.
Something kids should not go to.
Yeah, because with how things ended up with Andie, you think that they would get in trouble with the police, they would have been shut down, but we didn't see any of that, so...
No. It's definitely TV world.
Mm-hmm.
But see, it shows kids, like, hey, they can do it on TV. Like, they don't get in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just one time it'd be nice for somebody to get in trouble.
Yeah.
So, you know, they all show up, right? And Drew was there.
Yeah, that was a surprise.
And then, what did he say? He had the nerve to say something.
Like,
oh, I didn't really think you all would show up and something. And I was like, oh, I'm so over you, Drew.
Yeah, I can't remember, but,
Well, I thought it was funny, though, because, like, when Andie and Pacey see each other, and then, you know, they hug and everything, and then Drew's like, oh, isn't it like a second too long or something? And he's telling Joey, trying to get her to be jealous of that.
I don't know, so...
I did, because he said that, and Dawson was, like, looking at Drew like, come on now. And then Gretchen says something like, who is that? And Dawson brings up Abby Morgan.
Yeah.
Something Abby Morgan. And I was like, what?
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that.
What was it? Because you have the subtitles. So what was it about Abby Morgan?
Have you ever met Abby Morgan? That was just his response.
Because I just remember hearing Abby Morgan, and I'm like, what? Do you think Drew is anything like Abby?
Yeah. I mean...
Because they both, like, wanted to get people in trouble?
Yeah.
And mess with the group? And again, why do they keep messing with this group? You know?
Yeah, the main characters. But at that point, Andie's already taken the pill.
Oh, yeah, because Jen said, I want those back. And she said, oh, I already took one.
Yeah.
Now, my thing is, like, Andie could have not told Jen. because I don't think Jen was going to count how many pills were in there.
Well, there was only 2.
Well, yeah, but I don't think she was opening it up. I don't think she was opening it up to see if there was still 2 in there. I think she was just going to put it back in her pocket. You know what I mean?
Well, she probably would have opened it again if she was going to take one
Eventually,
herself.
probably when she wanted to take it.
Yeah, but
I don't think in the moment I think she was just going to put it back in her pocket, though. Because everybody was kind of around. So it's not like she would just sit there and go, what happened to it, Andie?
Yeah, but it kicked in pretty quick because they just walked in and she's already reacting to it by walking
by
behind Joey.
Petting Joey.
Her arm, yeah.
Her arm?
Yeah, she like did this
her
on the back.
hair, too.
Well, I just noticed the arm.
I noticed she was picking everybody's hair. She was petting everybody's hair.
Yeah, later on, yeah.
No, she started with Joey's hair. She was petting her hair. Started with the hair, then the arm. I noticed the hair because then she turns around because then Jen's like, stop petting Joey. And I was like, is Joey a dog? Stop petting Joey. It cracked me up. But then Andie started petting Jen's hair. And then later on, she pets Drew's hair.
Yeah.
And I was like, Andie has a thing with petting their hair.
Yeah.
Well, then she tells Jen, your hair is so soft. Weird.
And then all of a sudden, Drew is interested in Andie and takes her to dance.
Well, because he thinks she's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Because this is what Jen must have acted like in New York. You know? This, like, free spirit.
Yeah, because
remember, Jen says, I always went to these raves, but I never went without drugs.
Yeah. But Drew didn't even ask Andie specifically if she wanted to dance. He said, which McPhee? So I was like, he was going to dance with Jack?
Probably maybe he would have gotten him on the dance floor so then they could have picked up some girls.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, then Andie,
like his backup.
Jen tells Jack that Drew's the kind of guy you don't leave your sister with.
Well, yeah, and so this
but then he does.
But this is what I couldn't understand was that Jen told Jack to go watch Andie, go look out for her.
Yeah.
And my thing was, she was doing it because she was going to get the drinks. Why didn't she have Jack go get the drinks and she go watch Andie?
Yeah.
I was like, you're the one that's so concerned, and you're the one that can't tell Jack the truth because he'd get mad. So why? Because remember, Andie's like, let's just keep this between the two of us and not tell Jack. And my thing is like, why wouldn't Jen be like, go get the drinks? I'm going to go hang out with Andie.
Maybe she
didn't I don't trust Drew.
Maybe it's because she didn't want to make it obvious that she was watching Andie, so she's trying to like stay in the back a little bit. But
she told Andie, you need to stick by me.
Yeah, I know, but after that she changed her mind when Drew dragged her off, I guess.
No, Jen didn't like that Drew dragged her off, but I'm just like, why wouldn't you just have Jack go get the drinks? It just didn't make any sense to me. That you would leave and, I mean, everything's going to happen now that you left. Because then, Jen can't find Andie because Jack just left. And now he's just dancing with girls?
Yeah.
Was that weird? Oh, this is so-and-so and so-and-so. It's like, what? This is just turning really weird. First of all, I really can't see any of them being at this rave. So the fact that they're all turning into something else.
Yeah. And then Joey brings up to Gretchen about Dawson might...
having a crush.
Yeah, might get an idea. Yeah.
Well, she was like, oh, something starting up between the two of you. And Gretchen was like, no, because, like, he stopped having a crush at the age of 12. Everyone should know that you can have a crush at 12 and it can come back very quickly.
Yeah.
Once you're around that person that you used to like, it can all come back.
Yeah.
And clearly for Dawson, I think it is coming back.
Me too.
And, I mean, think about it. When he tells Gretchen that his mom's pregnant, she's the first one he tells.
Yeah, I think it's because she suspected it herself, but yeah.
But when he finds out that she's keeping the baby, he makes sure that that Gretchen is the first one.
Yeah.
And it used to be Joey. Joey used to be the first one he couldn't wait to tell. Now it's Gretchen.
Yeah.
And that's what I mean is I think he's definitely starting to like Gretchen.
Mm-hmm.
And think about it, he was taking all those pictures of her and, he's hanging around her a lot, which I don't have a problem with. I don't really think she's that bad of an influence, do you?
No.
I mean, besides she took them all to this rave.
Yeah.
Besides that, I I think she's actually good for him
Mm-hmm.
because she kind of keeps him grounded
Yeah.
in like not an obsessive Dawson like way like
Mm-hmm.
he used to be.
Yeah.
He used to be all about himself, but think about it. He congratulated his mom. He's so happy.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just not like Dawson.
Right.
He's turning into an actual human being that I actually like. Can you believe I said that?
No.
Well, I think it's thanks to Gretchen.
Mm-hmm.
Because the person that we saw episode 1 was not this person we see in episode 6,
Right.
where he thinks of other people.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just nice to see from Dawson.
Yeah. And then Gretchen says at the end with Joey that if Dawson's waiting on a childhood crush to come around, he's not waiting for her. So
Yeah.
she meant Joey.
No, I don't agree with that. I don't think Dawson in his head is thinking anything of he wants to get back with Joey. You know?
Yeah.
I think he's moved on.
For
At
now,
least,
yeah,
yeah,
I
well,
think
yeah, for
so.
now, because,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what's he going to do? Pacey and Joey are together.
Right.
Nothing. So he's going to move on. And Gretchen's the next best thing.
Right.
And, okay, so when they said, let's go bounce, did you think that that's what it meant?
Nope.
Is an actual bouncy house?
Nope.
Oh my gosh. It's literally a bouncy house.
Yeah.
Mm.
And then when Drew figures out that Andy's high
Like,
on
are
the
they at a
dance
kid
floor,
party?
I don't know. But when Drew figures out that Andy is high on the dance floor, he used the reference of going through the looking glass, guiding her, like Alice in Wonderland. Did you get that reference?
Sure.
Because that's the title of the book, so.
I didn't watch that.
And it just made sense because Alice in Wonderland is basically like an acid trip the whole time, so.
Mm. Um. So Andie and Drew
Mm-hmm.
run into Pacey and Joey.
Yeah.
Um. And then Andie is definitely high, and she is all over Pacey. And then she was like, "Oh, Pacey's the love of my life, and we probably would still be together if I didn't cheat."
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so weird.
Yeah, but
know?
not surprising since she's high, so she can say anything without really thinking of the consequences.
I was just like, oh, Andie, sometimes you should just keep. Okay, but my thing was, okay, so she's just flat out embarrassing herself, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Drew is loving every second of it.
Yeah.
The camera pans to him, and he is just full on laughing.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, he's such a jerk. This is the thing is he didn't pull her out of that situation, right? He just stood there watching it all go down because he's like, this is gonna be good. It's Andie and her ex and
Yep.
his new girlfriend. This is gonna be good. No, that is so wrong. And then Pacey's like, are you okay? Yeah, I'm fine. Yeah, you're high.
Right.
How did you like though outside when it was Pacey and Joey? Because Joey goes to find Pacey. Which I really didn't think they really left each other at the party until she goes out to find him.
Right.
And he just sitting out there. I was like, that'd be me. Getting away from the whole crowd.
Yeah.
Because he didn't even want to go in the first place. Like, that would have been me. I'd have been like, you would have to drag me, and then I'm not going to enjoy it while I'm there.
Mm-hmm. But that was funny how he was sitting on that couch with the lamp, like, in the middle of the whole place.
Well, isn't it like in the middle of the road or something?
No, it was still inside. It was just, there's
Wait,
nothing
that was
surrounding him.
inside? It seemed like it was outside.
Oh, I thought it was inside.
I thought it was outside.
It seemed like inside of me.
It seemed like outside.
I
It
feel
seemed like the party was inside.
I feel like, oh, no. Just the way it looked, no? Wasn't there people behind them?
They were walking in to the party. But then he ends up telling Joey that he misses true love.
Mm-hmm.
Which, of course, he does. It was his boat. It was his baby. Of course, he misses it. Like to me, it's not news. Joey shouldn't be surprised that he misses his boat.
Right.
Um, Can we cut to the bouncy house again?
Yeah.
So Dawson and Gretchen are bouncing. It's funny to say. And then Andie's like, "Oh, can we come in?" And I think it's funny that Drew and Andie get in, right?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Drew bouncing was so weird.
I wasn't even watching him.
I was like, okay, like I was like watching everyone, and I was like, Dawson's okay, Gretchen's okay, Andie's okay, right? Then we cut to Drew, and I'm just like, no, not okay. It was just weird to see Drew bouncing in a bouncy house.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think he's the same height as Dawson, right? But at least Dawson didn't look awkward bouncing. Drew looked weird bouncing. I just like my eyes just kept going to Drew. I'm like, I can't. I can't. He just now looks so weird. And I also just see that's the thing is how much I can't stand Dawson, but honestly, I can't stand Drew even more.
Yeah.
He's so irritating.
Yeah, so they're all bouncing in the bounce house, and that's when Andie had a reaction.
Is it from like the movement? Because she was bouncing?
Maybe, but I think it was just time just caught up with her. But it seemed like she was getting dizzy, but then she said she was getting a headache. So I don't know, just the way they showed that didn't really make sense to me because it looked like she was just getting dizzy.
I can tell you though, like when I have my seizures, I get dizzy and I have a really bad headache. So it can happen at once.
And then the way they show it didn't really.
And then she ended up
like it
seizing. So it makes sense. Like it all goes together for me.
She only like moved that first second after she fell down, and then she was still after that. Do you think that was too quick?
I don't think there's an actual time on how long you should seize. I know you can't seize longer than 2 minutes, like it's bad, but it could have just been a small little seizure.
Yeah. And then she fell over Dawson too and took him down as well. I didn't think that would happen. I thought maybe she'd be near Drew or something.
Drew I told you he was bouncing weird, so.
Oh yeah, and then when she told him that she didn't feel good, he's like, "Oh, give it a minute, you'll be fine." I was like, "Really?"
Again, he doesn't care.
Yeah.
And then of course Dawson is like right there, and which is weird because like Dawson's like laying with her. That's what I thought was funny. And then Jack of course runs over and so protective, which is nice to see because we normally see Pacey in that role. So and Jack's always second to it, remember? So it's nice that we're finally seeing Jack as the protective big brother.
Yeah.
Or brother. Sorry. He's not big brother. They're the same age.
Yeah.
And so, of course, then she goes into the ambulance. And okay, so when Jack goes into the ambulance and then Jen's like, "Hey, I want to go with you." Ooh, Jack. He gets so mad. And he literally said, he says, "It should be you inside the ambulance." And I was like, ooh.
Right.
Oh, no. Like, what did you think when he said that?
Well, I was surprised because, Jen's supposed to be his best friend, but Andie's his sister. So, like, I understood, but I don't know, it was a little too harsh too at the same time. But, like, and then it, to me, made sense that Jen couldn't go to the ambulance just because she's not family, so she shouldn't have been allowed anyways. But anyways, yeah.
Yeah, but you have to think, too, like, because Jack and Jen, I mean, they lived together at Graham's. They're more like
a year, I think.
They're more like siblings.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? So even though Andie is his sister, Jen is like his sister too. Like they're
really get that vibe, but yeah.
They're more than best friends. And so I was just like, that's pretty harsh. And again, your sister, Jen did not shove it down her throat.
Right.
Your sister asked to see the pills.
Yeah, and she didn't know about Andie being on her meds still, so.
That's the thing is Jen was like, well, I wouldn't, I wouldn't have done it.
Yeah.
If I had known. And then, Dawson was, he was like, oh, you want to go with us to the hospital? She was like, no, I don't think I should. And then who's standing right there?
Drew.
I was like, dingbat. Oh, and then it was weird. Because then he say, oh, what just happened? And I was like, You were standing there the whole time, weren't you?
Was I not paying attention? These are lines you keep telling me that I don't remember that are said. I just remember being surprised that he wanted to take her home.
Well, yeah, he did take her home.
Mm-hmm.
And it was weird because he just kept getting in her head of like, oh, your friends.
Iced
They're
you out.
not
That's
really,
not what
yeah,
they did.
they're not really your friends. What?
He said that they iced her out, but I didn't feel like they did.
Well, no, cause, I mean, Dawson didn't, because Dawson offered
Yeah, so I don't
to
know what he
take
was
her
getting at.
home or to take her to the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
It was Jack that literally was like, no.
Yeah.
But I mean, what was Pacey and Joey going to say?
Mm-hmm.
And
then Gretchen was there too.
yeah, so it's like everybody was still shocked.
Yeah, so.
And yes,
Didn't ice her out.
are they going to? Probably. But because she gave, her the pills.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, Andie took them willingly.
Yeah, so.
Jen actually freaked out when Andie took them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so Drew did make a point that Andie is responsible for her own choices.
Mm-hmm.
But he should have understood how Jen felt bad about it,
Yeah. So, but this whole thing though is Drew doesn't feel bad that he even gave Jen the pills that made Andie take the pills.
Yeah.
Like it all came from Drew.
Mm-hmm. And then he was
like that's who Jen should be blaming.
Yeah, and then he was going on about how, her friends are going to blame her and want nothing to do with her anymore, and that's why her and him should be together. Well, not together, but, in each other's lives because they need each other because they're both damaged.
Nope. Well, I mean, I know that's what he said, but no, I don't think that's what. I think she should, I mean, at least just be on your own. You know what I mean? Like, definitely should go, definitely should not go back in that crowd.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's already pulling you in the most negative way.
Yeah.
So it's like, run. Well, okay, so then we do see that Mr. McPhee is in the hospital.
Oh, yeah.
He actually goes to see his daughter.
Mm-hmm.
And so, then Andie apologizes and Mr. McPhee says, I'm not mad. And Jack goes, I am.
Mm-hmm.
It's like Jack. Jack is what, playing the parent? I'm mad.
Right.
Well, and then I didn't like though that Jack was like, you know what our family has been through. But it's like, so she can make a mistake. Like, okay, I'm not saying this mistake, but I'm just saying, like, you act like she needs to, like, be, this person that shouldn't make any mistakes and this, I don't know, just how he was putting her as, like, the martyr annoyed me because she's still a teenager.
Yeah.
She's still going to make mistakes. Even though she shouldn't make this mistake, she's still going through stuff. Just like, just because Jack isn't going through it doesn't mean she isn't. So it just bothered me when he was like, oh, our family's been through a lot. Yeah, and so is Andie.
Yeah.
But again, Jack, you're only looking at yourself.
And then when Jack said that she had a hypertensive crisis, I never even heard of that before.
Yeah, what is that?
It's just.
Did you look it up?
Yeah, it's just an increase in blood pressure that can lead to, stroke and all that. But either way, it's just a bad reaction to the meds with her antidepressant. Because apparently she was taking an O type. So.
A what?
He said an O type of depressant. So that's why she had the reaction. But I feel like you can have that reaction to any kind of
medication.
Yeah, so. But yeah, I thought it was sweet how Joey, came up and hugged him when he started crying, saying how she almost died and everything.
And then, of course, Pacey.
That was bad.
Yeah, he's like, well, I should have known. You're not together. I can't.
I mean, he didn't notice before that she wasn't all right, but, he just feels like he should have, stopped her from walking off with Drew and asked her more questions.
Well, okay. So then, of course, he says that he's going to stay there, and I don't like it.
Yeah, I was surprised that he said that.
It should only be family. Like, there's nothing he can do, so it should just be family only. You can go visit later.
Yeah, technically he wouldn't have been allowed to stay anyhow, so yeah. Because didn't he stay there all night, too? So he definitely should have been able to do that.
I guess he'll just say he's the brother. Like another brother. Well, I think it's okay as long as, it's okay with Mr. McPhee.
Yeah.
Is the reason why he could stay. And then, of course, Andie apologizes for saying what she said, or, because she's still... and can you believe that she remembers what she said?
Yeah, I know. I was surprised at that, too.
I was like, whoa, you were high. How do you even remember what you said to Pacey?
Yeah. Because, I feel like at some point she may have, blacked out from being so high. I don't know how that works.
It's not like Jack was there when she said it. I could see where, you're in the hospital and it's like, oh my God, what just happened? And then whoever's there is telling you exactly what happened. But Jack wasn't there when she said that to Pacey. You know what I mean?
No, what do you mean?
Oh, okay. If you were high or whatever, and you're in the hospital and you're like, what just happened? And then I was with you, so I can tell you what happened, what you said, what you did. And then you're like, oh my God, I'm so mortified. Jack wasn't there when she was all over Pacey. Drew and Joey were. They would be the only ones to tell Andie what she did with Pacey. How she acted.
Yeah, but wasn't Andie just going off by her own memories?
Yes, but that's what I'm saying is how can she even remember?
TV.
If her brother didn't tell her what happened.
Yeah,
but he
TV.
also wasn't there, so he wouldn't be able to say what happened between Pacey and Andie.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Is you shouldn't remember. I don't think you should remember.
Yeah, it's just TV.
And then the person that was there, which was Jack, would tell you what happened. When you finally woke up out of it. But again, he wasn't there the whole time. So he wouldn't be able to tell that information. That's where I was going. So so what I thought was kind of weird was that
they held hands. Oh, Andie and Pacey held hands too.
I've already skipped that.
I
told you I don't like this part, but
you mean that's where that Joey and Dawson spent time together, or
what, the one I don't like?
What, the last scene?
No, I thought it was weird that Dawson dropped Gretchen off first.
Oh. And not Joey?
Yeah, we're seeming like, it looks like Gretchen's the one Dawson likes. Why would he drop Joey off? Why would he drop Gretchen off first? You know what I mean?
Maybe because...
in real life, you would drop Joey, the friend, off before you drop Gretchen, the girl you like, off.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? And instead, he drops Gretchen off first, and then it's just him and Joey, and he's like, oh, are you hungry or whatever? And then they go and they, talk and stuff. And I was okay with it. I was just kind of curious of why Gretchen was dropped off first and not Joey, the friend.
Maybe because Gretchen was right about Dawson's crush coming back on Joey. I don't know.
Yeah, but Gretchen likes Dawson. Why do you think she keeps going everywhere he is? It just seems like she appears everywhere he's at.
Yeah, and
if he's at the CD store, she shows up. We're just wherever.
And she has no friends anyhow. We don't see her hang out
besides
with
Dawson.
Yeah, or anybody her own age, so.
Yeah. Oh, and when Pacey and Joey are talking about, they bring up Gretchen and Dawson. And Pacey was like, oh, I don't have a problem with it. They both have a problem with it. I was like, you both have a problem with it. Joey, you reacted to seeing the two of them together. And Pacey's reacting. So you both don't like it.
Right.
So,
the last scene with Joey and Dawson?
Yes. Okay. So, I thought it was, is this where Dawson, I thought it was funny when he said that. Parties used to be bowling and birthday cakes. That sounds so good.
Yeah.
I want that kind of party. I love bowling.
I know.
I never grew out of that part. And then, okay. Continuity issue alert.
Okay. What is it?
Joey says, we have lived across the creek for 18 years. Just because you lived across the creek does not mean you have been in each other's lives for 18 years.
Right.
You met when you were 7.
Right.
And is Joey even 18? Just last season, she was 16.
Right.
Remember, she just finally turned 16 and she got her license or whatever?
Mm-hmm.
It's only been, maybe 6 months later? So
Yeah.
she's still 16? Don't tell me you've lived across the creek for 18 years. You haven't even been alive for 18 years.
Mm-hmm.
So don't even give me that, first of all. That's my kind. Like, I can't.
Yeah, she could have just said their whole lives.
Yeah. But to say 18, to actually give a number.
Mm-hmm.
And then, especially when you've already in the past have given a number of when you met, it doesn't make any sense. Think about it. Think about it like your neighbors. If
Mm-hmm.
you didn't meet them until a certain age, you're not going to be like, oh, you're not going to say that. Because you didn't meet them until you were 7.
Mm-hmm.
It bothered me. And then my other thing with Dawson is Joey was saying that she's gonna, because they were talking about moving on and going to college, and Joey said that she can't really, or it's gonna be hard for her, whatever, to not have Dawson in her life.
Mm-hmm.
And Dawson said, "You did just fine for 3 months. Okay,
Yeah, that's harsh.
Why would you ruin such a nice moment?"
Mm-hmm.
I literally wrote that down. Why is
Yeah.
Dawson ruining the moment?
Yeah, and she said, you know what I mean.
And he goes, "Yeah, I do." But I'm like, it was a sweet moment, and then you gotta open your mouth.
Yeah, and before that, they had a nice moment because they were talking about
Oh
their
yeah,
votes and giving them, Joey giving hers to Alex or Alexander. He
I was
doesn't
gonna say
call him Alex.
Alexander.
And then that's when Dawson gives her the news of his new sibling that he'll give his vote to them.
But how far in age is Alexander and baby Leary gonna be?
3 years, maybe.
Yeah, so it's not gonna be the same as Dawson and Joey. Like they're not gonna graduate together,
Right.
and by time Alexander's a teenager, he won't want to hang around little Leary.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because it'll be
Yeah.
like, it'll be Gretchen and Dawson. I'm 14.
Mm-hmm.
I'm too cool for this 11-year-old.
Yeah.
That's what it's gonna be. But I did like the moment between Dawson and Joey just because, it wasn't. It's not like the attachment that Dawson and Joey always have that is so annoying and that I always like gag about. It was just a nice peer friendship moment.
Yeah.
And I like to see those moments between Dawson and Joey. Not
Mm-hmm.
this, we're soulmates and we're forced to, be friends. Like, I don't like that kind,
Yeah.
where it's not genuine. I felt like it was genuine in this scene
Mm-hmm.
between the two of them. It was just nice, light. They don't have crushes on each other. They're able to just talk as friends. It was just nice.
Yeah. So
So
hopefully we get more of those without Dawson messing it up.
without Dawson, what?
Messing it up.
Dawson always messes everything up, like he almost did with this scene.
Mm-hmm.
So, what is your high and low?
Well, the low, of course, is Andie crashing, and then the high was well, it would have been the last scene if Dawson didn't mess it up, but I guess Andie is gonna be okay, even though I already know she was. But it was so nice to know that she, wasn't unconscious, for a long time, or like in a coma or something. It could have been worse. So I'm glad that she was okay. And yours?
So my high would be, I guess, a nice moment between Dawson and Joey. And then I think so that'd be my high. My low would be when Jack overreacted to Jen.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would rate this a 7.
Yeah, me too.
And then what's your best and worst?
Best is Pacey, just because he was being the good sport and tagging along to the rave, and then being there for Andie at the end and everything like that. I just thought it was nice that he still cared about her. I mean, cared a little too much, but still was nice.
You cared a little too much.
And then the worst was just Jen. I know it wasn't really entirely her fault, but just it escalated so quick because she kept those pills of Drew. So
Wait, who's your worst?
Jen.
Okay. Hater. Just kidding.
Because, like, she could have just, like, took one pill before Andie came back if she didn't. Because she took a while looking at him, too. So, I don't know. Like, if she was the one that took the pill, then it wouldn't have been that bad. You know what I mean?
If Jen took the pill?
Yeah, not Andie. Because she wouldn't have had that reaction.
Andie is responsible for Andie.
I know, I'm just saying.
No. Okay, and this is why I disagree with you. Andie was capable of knowing not to take the drug, okay? She was smelling it, too into it, okay?
Yeah.
She was going to do whatever. Like I told you, she'd probably jump on Jen to get it. She was literally invested in it. She wasn't going to let it go. And Jen, again, did not force it down her. Mm-hmm. So that's why she's not my worst. My worst is Drew. Because, first of all, Jen wouldn't have the drugs if Drew didn't give them to her.
Yeah, I just keep thinking about main characters and everything about everybody.
Okay, well, you're just going to stick with Jen. And, because you already said it. And the thing with Drew is he also, while Jen knew that she took the drugs, Jen was at least trying to look out for her the whole night. Mm-hmm. Where Drew was like, oh, she's high. This is great.
Yeah, she's
like, fine. She's a lot of fun. And it's like, no, like, he just thought this was a big joke. And it wasn't. And that's why he was the worst for me. Like, it was very hard to watch him. And for me, I disagree with the best.
Disagree with what?
Because you said Pacey was the best, right?
Oh, with the best, yeah, okay.
Yeah, and I disagree with you.
Okay. Who was it?
Can you believe I said that?
So why was he the best?
Why was who the best?
Wait, what did you just say?
I didn't pick it. I didn't say who was the best.
Go ahead. Who was it?
I just said, are you shocked that I don't agree with you?
Well, I'm not surprised because of Pacey being like that with Andie.
Because of what I told you earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Before we recorded. My best was Dawson.
Why now?
He was very mature in this episode.
Yeah.
Like, he's like, he didn't want to go, but he got peer pressured into going because of Gretchen. And then he still went and picked them all up, even though he can't stand Pacey. And so he went, because he could have just told Gretchen, no, I'm only going to take you. You know? Yeah. That would have been the old Dawson. And so he took them all anyway. He paid for them. I didn't see Pacey getting out any money. Or Joey.
Oh, I thought maybe it was just all their money put together like they...
But anyway, I still didn't see it, okay? I'm going, I didn't see it.
Okay.
Secondly, I love how you're trying to argue Pacey. And I'm arguing Dawson. And also, when they were in the bouncy house, Dawson actually was concerned with Andie. And think about it, Andie and Dawson have never really had scenes together. It's not like they're friends.
Yeah.
They have, I think, honestly, they have had the least amount of scenes together. Like, they're just thrown into the group together. They're not really friends.
Right.
So the fact that he was actually concerned with her was nice. Because, again, she's like a stranger. And so I liked the way he reacted to her. You know. And also, he was going to take Jen, even though Jack was against it. He was going to take Jen with... He was going to take everybody to the hospital. That was nice, because he could have said, y'all can hitchhike. And then he took Joey home, and they had that nice moment. So, he didn't have to do all that. He could have just been like, see ya, and left. But he didn't. What?
No, that makes sense.
You're just shocked that I said Dawson, right?
Yeah, a little bit.
I liked him in this episode. I thought he was very mature for Dawson. And Pacey, nope. I don't, no. I have an issue, full-on issue with Pacey. Which is why I can't say he's the best. Because, first of all, he was a grump through the episode, which is funny, but I didn't like that he was too into caring about Andie. You are over.
Yeah.
Big, fat over. And next episode, I'll be able to tell you how much I can't stand that episode.
Mm.
All right, so what's the next episode?
Episode 7, you had me at goodbye. Hope nobody dies in this one.
Goodbye. All right, thanks for listening.
Yep, and we see you next time.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks for listening to this episode of Duo Chat. If you want to chime in with your opinion about the episode and the show we discussed, you can email us at duochatpodcast@gmail.com. And to keep up with updates about the podcast, you can follow us at Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Duo Chat Podcast. And give us a review wherever you listen to podcasts. We would really appreciate it.